Hey guys, I hope you are doing well. My name is Mpho Makubele. I am a chartered accountant, and over here I like to chat all things business, careers, and sometimes a little bit about life. We are doing exactly that today as we discuss the different sectors that exist in the commercial property space. This video was inspired by the fact that when many of us think about building our property portfolio or about playing in the commercial property space, most of us think about buying a unit of flat or a block of flat. We think about student accommodation, we think about affordable housing, and none of those are wrong. But I actually just wanted to come here, share some information on the different sector that actually exists in the commercial property space, and then should you decide to play in the residential market, it's because this is the field that you have decided, knowing all of the information in the other sectors that exist. So if that's the sort of thing that you're looking for, to stick around, and just to ask you to subscribe if you're not, to like, and leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this video. The first that I want to start with is the residential market. As I've mentioned, most of us are familiar with this. It is the 2-bedroom flat in CBD. It is student accommodation. I'll put student accommodation here. It is also affordable housing. I think personally, the reason that most of us want to play in this sector is because we rely on our balance sheet and our income statement to sort of make these decisions. There's nothing wrong with that, but for this video, I sort of also want you to consider the fact that your property can support itself. So if you decide to play in residential or retail or other sectors that I'll discuss, I want you to be open-minded to the fact that when we fund property, we're not necessarily funding you as an individual. We're funding the property, and one of the biggest consideration is whether the property itself is able to pay off whatever deal structure we may come up with. So players here, as I've mentioned, go all the way from student accommodation, affordable type of housing, small bachelor units, 2-bedroom type, all the way to upper end. A fun trend that has been coming up here is the refurbishment or repurposing of office spaces in business nodes, and having this be sort of like your micro or nano units. So this actually makes living in business centers more accessible and affordable to young professionals. Some of the strategies that we see here is people buying a unit to rent out. It's people buying a unit to actually flip it and sell it at a higher or at a profit, or actually just building a new house and selling that off once it's been completed. I think it's important also, as with any investment decision, to just consider the market and where we are. So currently with COVID and interest rates being where they are, we've seen a lot of people buying instead of renting, because it's just much more cheaper for the same unit to buy than it would be to rent it. What we're also seeing is, with us working from home, people want spaces that allow them to leave, to work, and to play in the very same spaces. So that's the other thing that to consider should you want to play here. I think there is room for us to be creative here, especially in the sense that, yes, we understand we solve the most basic of problems, but the more you can differentiate yourself and your offering, the more people are likely to come, especially young professionals, the more they'd be likely to come and support your space. The next sector that I want to discuss is industrial. So think your warehousing, manufacturing, light or heavy, think depots. Industrial properties understand that they don't necessarily have to be sexy. They just have to do the job, and they do the job very well. With that said, assets that are of better quality and in better locations or more desired nodes outperform all of their other sector peers. A healthy manufacturing industry is seen to be beneficial or critical in the economic well-being of a country, and South Africa isn't any different. With COVID-19, we've seen our relationship with online shopping actually get better, and retailers have also embraced that and have started to actually improve their online presence. So now I don't necessarily have to go to the mall to get some of my favorites or even my groceries. But what that has also done is just create a need for better storage of items before they can actually reach me. So where previously they'd have to leave the manufacturing plant to maybe a warehouse and straight to the retail shop, the physical shop, now there's actually a need for bigger warehouse spaces or another platform actually to house these goods, because they can leave the manufacturing plant and come directly to me, or leave manufacturing to go to warehousing, and instead of going to the shop and to me, they can come directly to me from the warehouse. Since small businesses starting online shops over the years, and what we also starting to see now is small businesses graduating from shipping from their living room to now actually having a small warehouse. So small business is actually also a good driver of growth in the industrial space. History has shown that industrial is the most resilient of all of the asset classes. If you want to see how industrial has done in a COVID environment, I've linked a short report by JLL in the description box. It's very short, but it'll give you an understanding of what industrial and in fact other sectors have performed like. Next, I want to chat about retail. Now, it comes in all shapes and sizes, from standalone boxes to community or convenience centers. We have malls also in their different shapes and sizes. Personally, I think this is the most difficult space to play in. It needs you to have intense knowledge and experience and expertise in managing tenants, in facilities management, basically facilities and property management. Here you're probably dealing with multi-tenants of different sizes also in shapes, so from mom and pop types of shops all the way to nationals or even multinationals. So here you probably need a team that's experienced in leasing, experienced in managing expiries before they actually happen, experienced in collecting rentals and actually paying the different expenses that retail centers have to pay. That includes the likes of rates and taxes, water, security, cleaning, a lot. So here I think if you wanted to play here, if you wanted to enter into this market, you probably would need to enter with through a partnership with an experienced player, learn from them, have them transfer that knowledge, especially if you've never played in the sector before. But yeah, retail is also not off the market or off the market. It's available, and if you want to be a retail player, there's many ways and many people that you can learn from. But I would really suggest by starting from learning from the more experienced type of players. The next sector that I want us to discuss is offices or the commercial space. So with COVID-19, even before COVID-19, this sector was sort of already shaky. The property fundamentals, it was just difficult. I think we got to a situation or a point where there was just an oversupply. So developers had done way more than what the market needed. We had office vacancies even in business nodes that were previously desired at all-time high levels. Maybe not all-time, but we had vacancies very high. So with COVID-19 and us working from home, a lot of buildings do stand empty. In the short or medium term, though, a lot of companies will be contemplating whether we're taking the workforce back to the offices. I think here, as much as different opinions and preferences exist in terms of working from home or working full-time from the office or working part-time at home, part-time at the office, what we're seeing is there's definitely a need to change how our offices look. So how can we actually get them to foster collaboration between employees, between workers, without really distracting people? So what we've been seeing is many office developers are now going more green or sustainable. They are going type of flexi and creating informal meeting spaces, informal working spaces. We're seeing hot desking. So that's interesting. And I think if you want to play in this sector, those are all the different considerations that you need to have in mind or at the back of your mind. What we're also hearing is that small businesses or startups actually do prefer going to the office for just that collaboration, just even if it's amongst themselves or with other creatives or small businesses. So I think spaces that are more flexi, thinking WeWork, thinking spaces, thinking just where you pay for a desk or a meeting room when you need it, or like that type of, and you still get access to facilities like printing, Wi-Fi, a coffee shop, and the bonus is that the office itself looks like your favorite coffee shop. So I think interesting things can happen here if we are really out of the box and thinking. And I think as people that are looking to coming into the space, the one thing that we should be looking is solving for ourselves. The one last one that maybe I want to touch on is what I'll just call specialized. And this is basically the other. Think storage, self-storage facilities, think data centers. These actually just cater for a specific need, and mostly do well because of that. If you think of self-storage, they do well whether we're up in the cycle or we're down in the economic cycle. And that's because when we're going down, people are probably hit by the downturn of the economy, that they actually need to downsize. And when they need to downsize, they need to store whatever extra goods or furnitures that they may have accumulated over the years into something that's safe and affordable. And this is not just for people, companies as well. When we're going up, people may be exposed to opportunities in other provinces, in other countries even, and that may also need them to actually store whatever goods, furnitures that they have accumulated at an affordable rate. If you think data centers, I guess that's a more very, very specialized one, where the value may not even be on the property itself, but it's in the equipment, or it's in the equipment that is housed in by that property. So playing here, you would probably just need a good understanding of the sector. I know I said this was going to be the last one, but there's also assets in the hospitality sector. So your hotels, your lodges, B&Bs, all of that. These were actually the most hit by COVID, as we couldn't travel internationally, locally. But with us opening up and the economy opening up and local tourism being encouraged, what we're seeing is people now starting to embrace traveling again, starting to feel safe or at least comfortable with doing that. We're also seeing people being tired of working in one spaces and wanting a change of scenery, having what I have termed worktations, where they actually take a vacation but for work purposes, just for the change of scenery. So that is basically what I wanted to discuss. I think the one key takeaway, if you forget anything else, is that properties are funded as an asset on itself. We will look at the property fundamentals. Funders will look at whether this property is able to generate income. Also factoring into why we mostly go to residential is because we are aware that we can buy a unit in a block of flats. But actually the same is true for residential, for industrial, for offices, for many other, for many different sectors. You can also buy a office box in an office park, or an office block in an office park. You can buy an industrial box or an industrial block in an industrial park. So don't limit yourself to just residential because you think that's what's accessible or affordable. Same opportunities, sectional titles exist in the office and in the industrial and maybe even retail space. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching until here. The point of this was really to let you know of other options that exist outside of residential. So if you enjoyed it, please let me know. Please like, please subscribe, please leave me a comment and let me know what you want me to cover next. I really do enjoy making this sort of videos, so if they work for you, do let me know. Until next time, bye.